I think I am live. Okay, so hello and welcome to Living Abroad. My name is Alex. If this is the first time you're here to the channel, I see that there's absolutely nobody watching this right now, but it's fine. I'll give it a few seconds. I'm sure people will join. So, I just finished my first week here in the Philippines. I'm pretty sure it's been 2 weeks. I can't keep track of the days. So it's been kind of crazy here. The weather's been insane. It's been like raining nonstop. And if anybody's watching this, well, I'll just wait. So yeah, if anybody's watching this, guys, please let me know if you can hear me and see me. Just leave that in the comment section so I'm not wasting my time if nobody's listening or can hear me or see me. I'd really appreciate that. So just give me a thumbs up or a yes or something if you can hear me and see me, and then we'll get start talking. If you have any questions about the Philippines, please feel free to ask me. Type in your questions. I'll be more than happy to answer. I oh, I just finished eating, so I'm ready to go, guys. This is gonna be maybe a little bit different since it's the first one, and I'm not sure if anybody's gonna be able to join. Oh, Corey's here. Oh, Fort Lauderdale, Corey's here, and Bogdan's here as well. All okay, perfect, guys. So Corey, Bogdan, if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to ask me. If not, I'm just gonna ramble on until somebody asks me something. So first things first, the first thing I've noticed entering the Philippines, it was a lot simpler than going into Thailand per se, right? So I just came, showed my vaccine, my negative PCR test, and my One Health Pass, which is a very simple online application. Filled it up, went through the whole process, easy peasy lemon squeezy, pretty easy, I get. And then after that, I'll tell you guys a funny story. So in my mind, I'm thinking I'm gonna rent a hotel for one night, and then by the next day, I'll just find a condo or a place to rent. So, a simple Thailand versus Philippines. Okay, Thailand versus Philippines. Good job, Bogdan. You're awesome. I'll go ahead and compare two things. So first of all, when I went into the hotel, I'm thinking I'm just gonna stay here one night. The next day, I'm gonna go out into the city, find myself an apartment, move in. Because unlike Canada, you don't need like 30 days advance to find an apartment. You can just walk into somebody's condos and find a place. I wasn't able to find a place on Airbnb, unfortunately, so I had to do some legwork. I went into some condos. I spent all day looking and I couldn't find anything in my price range and with any decent. It was either old or something was wrong with it. Eventually, I went back to the hotel. I had to spend a second night, but there was a roach this big. I'm not like it was huge. It was like looking at me and waving. It was massive and in the bathroom. So I had to lock that door and I couldn't even take a shower. It was horrible because I'm not trying to do that roach life. Okay, so we got some comments coming in. Money go better in the Philippines or Thailand? Let me get to that in a second. Bogdan says, I was as many times in Thailand, many times. Is it worth it? Hey, from Norway. Oh, hello. Norway's in the house. Hello to Norway. Hello from the Philippines. So I'm going to compare two things. I think I've mentioned this previously, but if you haven't seen my videos in a while, or if this is your first time, I'm going to give you guys a comparison between Thailand and in the Philippines. I think for like a first time visitor to any Southeast Asian country, Thailand is still king, in my opinion. Thailand offers a lot more for your money. For example, the food is absolutely fantastic. The beaches are breathtaking. Cost of living for an apartment, for example, I'm paying 370 US dollars for this one, plus electricity and water. But in my Thailand apartment was bigger, it was better, it was newer, everything was included, and I was only paying 260 bucks. So that's one thing that Thailand has over the Philippines, just the overall understanding. Oh, so there's 10 people here watching, guys. Take a quick second, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. That means a lot to me. So accommodation, 100% Thailand. Food, 100% Thailand. People, now here where it gets a little bit tricky because I know Thai people are very nice, but in my opinion, Philippines people are a lot more friendlier. They're much more open to like talking to you, inviting you, or like just anything because number one thing is the English. So English is very, very prominently spoken in the country. Everybody speaks English. So when the language barrier isn't there, it's much easier to communicate with someone, right? So I think for that matter, Philippines takes the cake slightly over Thailand, especially in recent years. When I went to Thailand for the first time, like 10 years ago, everybody was super friendly and everybody did the Y, I think it's called, where they like do this to show respect or whatever. But I saw that less and less recent years and this year, especially. I don't know what's going on, maybe the pandemic or whatever. Of course, locals are still very friendly, but I think Philippines are a little bit friendlier. The food, hands down. Philippines, no offense to my Filipino friends, Your food, not to my palate. It's just I've been eating KFC every night for the past like 10 nights because I can't find something that I want to eat here. Unfortunately, everything is really fastly cooked, no processing time or like no preparation, no seasoning. It's just either barbecue, cheese, or just vinegar. Those three things are in everything and all things. I mean, maybe because I don't eat pork, I can't try like the famous lechon, the roasted pig. Regardless, by far, Thai food is hands down much better. Cost of living, on other notes, the cell phone prices are essentially basically the same, but cell phone service in Thailand is much better as far as quality, speed, and stability for sure. And the weather right now, I think it's rainy season in the Philippines. It's been raining nonstop for a week. That's why there hasn't been too many updates on the channel. That's another reason why I'm doing this to keep you guys posted. Jeffrey says, "Where do you party here in the Philippines?" Jeffrey. So parties. I'm not really a party guy, but of course Boracay, Siquijor, Siargao are the place to be. And even in Palawan, you just go for the beaches. In Manila, I think there's near Manila, there's a city called Angel City, which is like Pattaya of the Philippines. But here in my city, there's a place, a street called Mango Street. So this is like the red light district where you can go and kind of like have a few beers and talk to some females. Speaking of females, guys, hit that bell notification because I'm going to be doing an interview with a couple of girls. One is a lady boy, one's a transgender. So I wanted to get to know this group of people a lot more. So I did an interview that's going to be coming up on the channel within a week. So keep tuned for that one. I think it might be a little bit interesting if you guys want to check out that content. Um, considering going back to Thailand, are you considering going back to Thailand? Honestly, I wouldn't go back to Thailand just because I've been there so many times, and the only reason I'll go back is for the people, friends I've made there, people that are there for me, but not necessarily for Thailand itself because I've been there so many times. My goal is to see the rest of the world, like Norway. Eventually, I want to come there, see the fjords and all those things. But right now, the budget is only allowing for for like Southeast Asian countries and maybe Latin America eventually in the future. So we'll see how things go. I would love to visit Japan after here if they're open for tourism. As Jeffrey says, how do Canadians view Canadian websites while in the Philippines? I just like give me an example because I'm able to access everything. Unless you're talking about like Pornhub, then you just simply use a VPN and use a VPN so you can access those sites. Very straightforward. I'm sure you could download free ones online. I have a VPN anyways. You can pay for them for like a year or 2 or 3 year subscription for only a few dollars a month. I highly recommend it to be secure and safe. So you can go ahead and do that. And now, so here in the Philippines, I'm staying near an area called IT Park. So in the Cebu city, IT Park is a very cool area because a lot of buildings are here, a lot of call centers, a lot of young people are roaming around like almost like call center because it's like a university campus. So I'm gonna bring some interview content on the channel. I want to try to niche down a bit because I think it's too general like stuff right now. So I'm just gonna try to narrow it down to meeting people. And because I did that interview with Irish Times where I spoke about myself, so I reached out to him. I asked his like blessings to go ahead and take his like style and apply to my channel. He was good with it, so that's going to be coming up from now on the channel. Paul, hello, mate, from England, but currently in the Thailand. What's the visa regulations for the Philippines? I'll get to that in a second, but let's read. Silje, sorry, I can't pronounce your name properly. From Norway says you should come all the way up north. I Norway then. Yes, I definitely will eventually. My goal is to visit literally all the countries in the world. So I'm nowhere near that, of course, but that's the goal. It's good to have goals and dreams and aspirations. So definitely we'll visit Norway. Paul once again says hello, mate, from England, but currently in Thailand. What's the visa regulation for the Philippines? So as an Englishman and as a Canadian, as a U.S. citizen, you're able to come into the country for 30 days. However, unlike Thailand, this is where Philippines takes the cake. It's the visa process. The bureaucracy isn't like it is in Thailand. You simply go to your nearest immigration bureau, you slap down 3,000 pesos, which is what, $60 or so. They extend your visa up to 3 years. You can continue to do this. After your first extension, I believe there's a second extension. And after that, you can apply for your temporary residence. And then you can stay here up to 3 years without having to leave the country. All you got to do is simply pay a little bit of application fee. It's nowhere near the Thailand stupidity when it comes to visas. And unfortunately, that was the reason why I had to leave initially because I exhausted my visa options of staying in Thailand. However, in the Philippines, it's much, much easier to stay here long term. So you can stay here as long as up to 3 years. And even then, you simply leave and come back, and then you can restart the whole process again. So yeah. Um, oh, thank you. So Silja says your pronunciation of my name is just fine. I'm sure I'm butchering it, but you're very kind for letting me know it's okay. Um, so Bogdan says, how about renting motorbikes in traffic conditions compared to Thailand? So I'm not here in Manila, but Manila is like world famous for traffic as well, just like Bangkok. So if you're going to Manila and the cities like that, yeah, don't even bother renting a motorbike. I personally wouldn't. Here, at least they give you helmets. For example, I get on the back of a motorbike as a taxi. Everybody wears a helmet. It's not as unsafe as Thailand from what I've seen. And I think there's a little bit more open areas here, at least on the islands that I'm at. So I would say slightly better motorcycle safety, but of course nowhere compared to Canada or maybe another Western country. There still needs to be lots of education and things like that when it comes to road safety. I think it might be slightly better than Thailand, just based off my own observations. Paul says that's awesome regarding the visa situation. Yeah, that's one of the biggest, I think, attractions to the Philippines. I would say two things. Number one, for sure, the language, English. For example, I want to go out there and make some content interviewing people. If I were in Thailand, I'd have to like first of all make sure the person knows English or at least understands it. Second of all, I think there's also like a little bit of a cultural barrier where they're a little bit conservative, like Buddhists and all that. So it's a little bit embarrassing for me to try to interact with a stranger. However, here I've already spoken to several like random people on the street because the video I'm making in the future is about me asking them some stuff. So be sure to check out the channel for that. And they're very open to just giving their opinions. They're very happy and laughing. And the kids are awesome around here. I play basketball with them sometimes, and they do like their skateboarding tricks, and they want to see all these things. So I think it's a little bit more happier when it comes to that. But yeah, so that's another thing about the two differences between the countries. So that's it so far. If you guys have any further questions, I'm gonna have a sip of this and I'm gonna answer any kind of questions you might have or any kind of like inquiry, anything you want to know about me, the place I'm staying, or my plans. Feel free to ask. Jeffrey says to watch Big Brother. Episodes are not playing. Oh, I see. Jeffrey, I used to watch Big Brother years ago, but I don't know how to access those sites. To be honest, I would simply use a VPN. If it doesn't work, then unfortunately, I don't have any further knowledge based off of that. I used to like stream bootleg stuff, but that was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago when I had like a Amazon Fire Stick where I modified it and configured it to be able to watch those things. I think it's too long of a process to try to explain here, but there are ways. If you just YouTube it, I'm sure you'll find a way. So 7 people watching this. It's a little bit. I think it's because my content's mainly Thailand related, and here in the Philippines, the algorithm's probably not recognizing it. But 7 is better than 0, so I appreciate every single one of you guys watching this. And if you don't know, by the way, guys, I'm still making content about Thailand travel, Thai news, Thai pass, entry requirements on my secondary channel called Traveling Abroad. I'm sure you guys know about it, but I'll just type it in here in case you don't. Um, I'm actually putting out stuff like on a regular basis, maybe every day. If you want to keep in touch with what's going on in Thailand travel news, I'll put the link there if you guys want to check that out and subscribe to that as well. If you want to keep in touch with Thailand Pass and updates with that. Um, the Mad Mullah Hogster, where are you from originally? So yeah, originally I'm from the Middle East and I came to Canada as a child. If you guys want to know my story, and I'll put up another link. If you guys want to know a little bit about me and get to know me on a personal level, here's a collaboration video I did with Pete at Irish Times. We did an interview about me, my life, and my journey, and all that there, so you can check that out. And for how long do you plan to stay in the Philippines? That's a great question. So I definitely will stay minimum 2 months. I do not want to stay more than 3 months unless something drastic happens in my life or I have to go back to Canada or something. I plan to stay 2 to 3 months just because I don't want to get too comfortable. I want to keep traveling. I want to see the world, different places. I know I have to go back to Canada at some point. So either after here, I'll go back to Canada. But if I go back to the West, I don't think I'm coming back to Asia again. So I might do like Cambodia, Cambodia, Vietnam, Japan, maybe South Korea, India, Pakistan, and then eventually make my way back to the West. But there's still no plans. I'm living literally day by day, guys. I have zero plans of doing anything. I just, yeah, every day is something different. the middle part of the Middle East. Yeah, so that's it. That's it about Thailand and the Philippines so far. What else have I noticed so far here? The we mentioned the weather. There's a typhoon coming, so um, I think I should be fine. I'm very central, but I know they had a huge typhoon in December that put them out of electricity for about 3 weeks. So they just send out a memo saying stock up on food and water. It's kind of it's been raining nonstop, and they give me text messages saying a red rain warning, whatever that is. I guess it's heavy rains. It's nonstop. It's been raining the whole time. Silja says you should meet up with Will and Jose Travel. Love those guys. Hey, good. I'm gonna copy and paste those names. Yeah, you're right. You know, I'm gonna reach out to some other YouTubers here. I'm gonna start making some collaboration videos. I haven't done anything because I hate to keep saying it, but the weather's been terrible, guys. I can't even go outside without getting soaked, and nobody wants to be out there right now. Once the weather gets a little better, I'm gonna go ahead and meet up with some other YouTubers. So yeah, the channel is gonna move towards like interviews. I think it's gonna be the main content, unless I go somewhere special like a day trip somewhere on an island, things like that I did in Thailand, and of course. Okay, so they're in the Philippines now. And honestly, I don't mind taking a flight to another city to do a collaboration video. It'll give me something to do. It'll be good for the channel. It'll help it grow. We're kind of stagnant about close to 4,000 subscribers. And when I started making videos, it wasn't really about like making money or being a YouTuber. It was just to document my life and every place I went to. However, if it's going to be an avenue where I can make an income and a earning, which I don't have to work anymore, then why not make it that way, right? So we'll see what happens as far as the channel growth. But that's a good way to grow the channels by collaborating with others. And yeah, they're in the Philippines now. That's right. So let's see if we have any other questions. Big Brother, North. So yeah, I think we've answered all the questions so far. There's only about a handful of people on the live stream. I'm gonna stay here a little bit longer in case the algorithm picks it up. I normally give like a 20-minute heads up to you guys, and the timing as well, right? So Sil just says, "Hope you get many subscribers to make your channel grow." Thank you. I mean, if I'm gonna be doing this, why not try to like be successful at it? I don't want to do anything half-ass, and that's why I'm gonna do these like. Thank you, Silja. Likes my videos, and I try to give you guys kind of a actual raw footage of what's going on wherever I travel. I don't want to leave out all the bad stuff because sometimes negative things do happen. You know, you might get scammed somewhere, or like the accidents, the motorcycle stuff, the traffic. When I mention stuff here, how it's like the structurally it's not as good as Thailand. I don't want to just say, oh, it's all rainbows and flowers or everybody can make it, but I want to be as real as possible. And if you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask. BBCC says, "What do you think about the Philippines woman?" Well, to be honest, a lot of people come here for the women alone. The Philippines women are very, I feel like they have best of both worlds. So they're the Asian family oriented, family driven, I don't know, loyal, but I mean, maybe they are, but I don't know about that. But I mean, like they're very caring and they provide emotional support different than a Western woman. So they're very attentive, I would say, from what I've noticed, and they're also physically like petite, usually speaking. I'm obviously generalizing, and but they do have some curves, so they have a more like a Latin vibe and feel to them, or the way they look. So personally, yes, of course, I find them attractive, but I find all women attractive. So for me, it doesn't make much of a difference. But the fact that they can speak English and you can maybe have like an in-depth conversation with them is a bonus. I was lucky that even in Thailand, whoever I spoke to knew English, so it wasn't much of a problem for me. But over here, I think you worry less about that language barrier and having to worry about like just argumentative. I know sometimes it can be like they give you the silent treatment from what I hear, but so far so good. Yes, they are very kind. Filipino women are very kind, and even if they're shy, they try to at least engage with you. So I've been around the city asking random girls some questions that I'm gonna make a video about, and even if they're shy, they very politely say no. It's not like Western women might give you a look or attitude or like just don't say anything. They'll at least address the question and then they just politely decline. Yeah, they're very very kind. Have you been following? Soldier says have been following you for a while on both channels. Thank you, Soldier. I thought I recognized your name and your photo, but honestly, I respond to so many comments. Sometimes it's not easy to remember. The New Yorker says, "Do you feel safe in Cebu?" I feel 100% safe in Cebu, guys. So if you saw the only video I've made about the Philippines, I walked around outside the neighborhood, and right outside my area, like I'm in a nice condo, the lobby's nice, there's a pool, a gym, like high-rise buildings, but like literally right outside, there's like cows and chickens and goats and maybe a very, very poor area and neighborhood. Like, but when I walk through it, nobody looks at me like I should. Like I don't feel unsafe. Everybody's actually friendly. They're curious. They wave. They say YouTube, YouTube. They just like because I had the camera out one day, so that's what they call me YouTube now. So and even the grown ups, they never like look at me in any certain way. I don't feel unsafe. I walk in the dark all the time because the closest thing to me is across that area, and I walk through that every day without feeling any sort of like you know I'm not afraid of anything here, and I've never been in a situation where I feel unsafe. So the only unsafe thing right now would be the weather, the typhoon that might come, might hit. But as for unsafe, no, I don't feel unsafe. I feel very safe here. Soldier says, I'm going to Thailand for longer than 60 days, the summer, and I was wondering about the visa. Should I get a 60-day visa before I go and get extended, or just get the 30-day on the first arrival? Soldier, I'm going to tell you my experience. I don't know what time in the summer you're going. Right now, they've extended the COVID extension deadline till May 24th. So up until then, you're able to get an additional 2 months if you're already in Thailand. I have a feeling they're going to extend that past the summer. So in my opinion, you should get a 30-day visa. But that's just based off of if they're going to continue to offer the COVID extension by the time that you go there. When I applied for my because initially, before going to Thailand, I too applied for the 60-day visa. First of all, the process is crucial. Like, I mean, sorry, it's excruciating. It's really in depth. You have to provide a bank statement, addresses. It's like probably 5 times worse than the Thai pass. So I went through all that, and I even paid the $60 or whatever application fee. They simply rejected it. They said I need this and that and the other. It was way too much of a headache when I could simply get it extended for another 30 days when I land in Thailand. So you can go to Thailand for 60 days minimum by visa on arrival. And if by then the option for COVID extension is still there, then you get an additional 2 months, like I did, up to 4 months. So if I were you, I would not go through the headache of the tourist visa before going to Thailand. But that's just my personal opinion because I went through it and it was just like pain. It was a headache. But if that COVID extension is not available, then maybe you can just get it anyways. Late June. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. I'll keep you updated. I know that the COVID extension is available until end of May, basically. So if they extend it further, I'll keep an eye on the channel. I'll make sure I mention it if the visa is available in June as well. Norman says, "Is the waterfront hotel in Cebu still open? How about Shangri-La Cebu? Haven't been there since 2010. Wanted to go this year, but don't know the requirements to fly out Cebu. I'm in Bantan now. Batan now." Yeah, the waterfront is actually, I can see it from my balcony. And if this laptop wasn't attached to the camera, I'll take you guys, I'll show you the waterfront. It's super dark and you may not be able to see it. Last time I was in the Philippines, I stayed across the waterfront hotel in a condo called Avenir. Now that place is no longer available for me, so I stayed here. But yeah, the waterfront is open. I'm not really sure about the Shangri-La, but yeah, the waterfront hotel is very popular and it's open and it's a great place. If you want to go gamble a little bit or just have a different feel, yeah, for sure, it's open. Silja says, "Thank you. You're welcome." Yeah, that's it. So far, my stay in the Philippines hasn't started as excitingly as Thailand or Turkey or anywhere else, but I don't want to blame it on the country. Right now, the number one concern is the weather. Nobody wants to go out in the rain. Nobody wants to do anything in the rain. I don't want to go island hopping or tours when it's like pouring rain. There's a typhoon. So safety first, of course. And I'm sure once that gets cleared up, when the sun is out, I'm going to do a lot more things, meet a lot more people, and make a lot more content for you guys and for myself. Norma says, "Thank you." Yeah, you're welcome. But yeah, so my curtains are closed and I'm not wearing any pants, so I'm not gonna get up. But I think the waterfront is you can see it from this area. Yeah. So what about you guys? Tell me about write some stuff, guys. Let me know where you're staying. I know that Silja is from Norway, and we got Fort Lauderdale in the house up here. Who else? So we got England for sure. Yeah, let us know where you're from and what's going on with you in your life, right? So don't be shy, guys. I always respond to every comment. Um, By the way, I'm not sure if you guys can use the sticker feature. I know on the new channel, Traveling Abroad, I don't think I'm able to like initiate that. But if you guys want, you can feel free to go ahead and use the stickers or, yeah, do that too. And that's it. So that's what's going on in the Philippines. I'm excited to go to the night market. There's a night market right outside my home. It's an IT park. So I'm going to make some content about the night market. I know there's going to be some delicious mango shakes, some good like barbecued stuff, and some Korean food is really popular here. So it might be some Korean dishes as well, and it's a perfect way to meet people, right? So there's gonna be some foreigners, some 99% locals. So I'm excited to show you guys that. So where is the Mrs. Silja? She's back in Thailand, and she's like asking me to come back on a daily basis, and I don't know what's happening there, but who knows? Who knows what the future holds with me and the Mrs. And yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Although, yeah, I do miss Thailand. And she's gonna be mad at me because I didn't tell her I'm doing this live stream. So yeah, I'm gonna hear about that later. But you got to do what you got to do, right? Jeffrey says just arrived in Manila last night and still looking for a hot spots to go and meet people. Yeah, Jeffrey, just YouTube it. I'm sure there's going to be countless places. And just if you're a single guy, join online dating apps. You'll meet plenty of people for sure through online dating. It's a great way to meet people. That's where it's at these days, regardless of how old you are. Put up a picture online and just meet people that way for sure. It's very easy. Still just giving me some emojis and laughing at my pain. And today I made a video on the Traveling Abroad news channel, and I kept referring to my location as Thailand just because I can't get it out of my head. I think because I'm stuck in my room mostly, I don't feel like I'm in the Philippines quite yet. So I'm curious to see how my trip here goes. If you guys want me to try anything, feel free to suggest it. Any type of content you want me to make, I'm very open to ideas. So as I mentioned earlier, the channel is going to move a little bit more towards interviewing people. I want to see how that goes a little bit. I have a couple girls I'm interviewing that are transgenders and ladyboys. And then also I'm going to go out in public and ask people random questions and see how they respond to it. I think it might be kind of fun if I do a good job editing it and try to like represent that feeling that I have in the video as well. So Norman says, try the balut. No way. I'm not trying no balut. If you guys know what balut is, from my understanding, it's an embryo that's almost a bird. So you're eating an egg that's like half bird, half yolk with a beak. It's disgusting, and you just eat it. Sorry, Filipinos. It's just something I would never eat. I don't mean to be rude, but that just sounds like look up balut. Whoever's brave enough, but not me. So Norman, have you tried it? Let me know. Ha, Jeffrey, you're trying to get me in trouble, man. Let's just say both women are hot. Thai women and Filipino women are hot. Now I'll generalize it a little bit. I think Thai women tend to be a lot thinner, not a lot, but on average, I think they're thinner. So if you're into like thinner women, maybe that's your thing. Where I find Filipinos are a little bit more curvy. So if that's your thing, then I think that's one way to swing one way or the other. What else have I noticed? The rest of the features are relatively the same. For me, all women are beautiful. Men too, but not for me. Men are beautiful for other men or women, but women around the world, I think as long as they have a great sense of humor, they're attractive to me. Someone that laughs, basically. Yeah, that's it. So Jeffrey says, "Nah, brother, I was honestly talking about the weather because I go next month." Okay, the weather by next month, hopefully, I don't know how long rainy season. I think it goes all the way to September or something, but I think it just started here. I didn't research anything about the weather. I was just kind of like winging it, and I didn't want to not go to a country because of the weather. Right now, it's horrible. It's like raining every day, and it's like keep getting alarms saying, "Oh, don't go outside. It's gonna be flooding. Stock up on water and food." It's kind of scary, but yeah, that's what's going on. BBCC says, "What is the first impression about Philippines?" My first impression about the Philippines is friendliness. The people here are super friendly. Sometimes I get caught off guard because somebody says, "Hello, sir," and everybody calls you sir as a sign of respect. And even if like I'm walking and I'm not even making eye contact, but if I'm walking like let's say across the security guard that's working at a bank, they still say hello to me. So that is something that I don't get in the West. In Canada, nobody bothers you if you don't bother them. So here, though, people go out of their way to help you or say hello, and they don't want anything for it. It's a genuine friendliness. At least from my experience, everybody's friendly. Um, Norman says, yes, the best one I had was in Vietnam. Their balut there was good. Acquired taste. Uh, that's a very polite way of saying acquired taste. I guess so, right? I mean, I eat beef, so or whatever. So to some people that might be disgusting. BBCC says, "What's the first impression?" I mentioned that, and Norma says it's supposed to be summer now, but there's a typhoon. Yeah, I'm talking about all this weather stuff. You think I'll actually look into the weather? I haven't even looked, to be honest. It's just like I just know from what people are telling me there's typhoon coming. There's memos all around the elevator saying do this and do that. So yeah, once this gets better, I'm gonna go out and do things. I don't want to keep repeating myself. So yeah, so we did 30 minutes, guys. I think this is great for like a first Philippines live stream. We can end it soon if you guys don't have any further questions. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, asking questions. I'm going to continue to make travel stuff on the other channel, how to enter the Philippines, how to do the the One Health Pass, and so much more. So that channel is actually growing at a lot faster pace than this one, unfortunately. I want this one to be my main one, but the people want what they want, so why not give it to them? Is the beer good in the Philippines? Silje, I don't know. I don't drink any alcohol, so I don't know. But I haven't heard of any like compliments of the beer here. Even like when I go out sometimes, it's not like Thailand where you hear like certain names come up once in a while. Oh, the beer's good. This beer's good. Over here, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about the beer. I assume it might be, but I have no idea. All I know, the food could be better. Like from the ones that I ate, maybe I'm just not going to the right places. Only been here like a short while, but Philippines foods something I'm not very fond of. I can't wait to have some Thai food again at some point. That's it, guys. So I want to say goodbye to everybody slowly but surely. Jeffrey, BBCC, Norman, Silj, everybody, guys. So thank you for being here for sure. I'm gonna do more of these, so hopefully we can have like a regular conversation once I start doing things. Bogdan, thanks again. Everybody that didn't mention Corey, of course. Thank you guys for being here. I know there wasn't really a point to this live stream, but I figured I want to do one because it's been a while since I did a live stream living abroad. In case anybody had any questions or things they wanted to mention, they can feel free to ask me. Um, yeah, Jeffrey. See you guys. Bye, everybody. Thank you for being here. Uh, Great evening, Silja. Thank you as well. Everybody, have a good night. Be safe or have a good day. And I'll see you guys next time. And watch out for that video of me interviewing some people. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm going to do more content just walking around and doing random things, night markets, things like that. And if there's anything specific you guys want to see, let me know. Bye. See you guys. See you guys next time. Bye.